Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree?
Hello family and welcome to the next part of Exposed Collection on From TV Show Part 2. In the past review, I picked Sara and through her actions, reactions and interactions, I exposed Boyd and Father Guthrie and through that found out Victor as her partner in crime. I discussed in details on how Sara bullied Father Guthrie into believing in her and then how Sara used Father Guthrie by putting on the show in a massacre at Fatima's anniversary party to redeem herself from the box as a dangerous citizen whom in reality had to go into the box instead of that poor desperate Frank. And now is about to go on a journey to the forest with Boyd. In this very review, I am going to discuss on the journey both Boyd and Sara had and wanted to find a way out. I want to declare you how Sara arranged Boyd ended up in that chimney pipe and met Martin, the old chained man, into the dungeon and how she put all those worms under his skin. This is Ellen the Marvelous, the movie Gangstar. Like the video and show your support and share this review with the rest of your friends whom are interested in From TV Show. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more reviews and breakdowns on From TV Show and turn the notification bell to be informed when I uploaded a new review and be the first one watching it. Okie dokie, let's jump into that. At first, it was Ellis who arrived by that cottage in the jungle and made peace with his father. Sara was in the cottage, but she came out in the middle only to make a show-off to Ellis, may causes him doubt again in his father, but it never happened. Also, she found how much Boyd loved his son, and his son was his weakness point. At the beginning of the journey, she tried to open a conversation with Boyd, but he was tough and a real military man and untouchable. Next, she opened up about what was happened to Abby and mentioned on him that Abby's death was not his fault. He only wanted to protect his son. Boyd resisted talking. All the time she was trying to sweet-talk him and was trying to convince him to open that handcuff. But Boyd was so resilient. Next, she began to compare Boyd with his brother Nathan as someone who is so kind and sacrificial and compassionate as much as he sacrifices his own life to save other people, as the other word as a people pleaser. But she couldn't break him or even make friends with him. She was unsuccessful. All of a sudden, a noise came to ear, as some bottles were clinging into each other like it was in a bar or in a party. And suddenly, that weird bottle tree appeared in front of them. We could obviously see that Sara never heard or seen of a bottle tree before, and it was completely unfamiliar to her, to Boyd also, to us as audiences. We were seeing a bottle tree for the first time in the show, but it was not fully seemed out to us just because we already was presented to a faraway tree in previous episodes, and seeing such a weird tree in this location and that jungle was not far from our imagination. Sara was looking up to the bottle tree shocked and wondered as Boyd was trying to bring one of those bottles which had a paper inside down to check inside. All of a sudden, a heavy shock and headache came to Sara, and it seemed someone or someone's voice was torturing Sara in her mind. She fainted, shivering on the ground as her nose was bleeding as well. Late at night, she woke inside the tent by Boyd. She was scared and found out that he has took a bottle down. opened it and has found a piece of paper inside the bottle with a number written on it, 8064. Let's take a flashback to the beginning of this episode and Tabitha's dream of the lighthouse. As Tabitha is climbing the stairs and steps up, this is an empty bottle falls down of the stairs. And I think this open empty bottle refers to that bottle Boyd took down from the tree, opened it and pulled the paper out of it. Boyd had a number 8064 and Tabitha saw the bottle and threw it down the stairs accidentally. Now this number leads Boyd from that faraway tree to that chimney pipe, and that bottle Tabitha saw in her dream leads Julie to that dungeon only to visit Martin and throws that rope for Boyd to climb up. But how Sara manifested all those worms under Boyd's skin at the first place? Let us get back to Sara and Boyd in the jungle again. Sara woke up at the tent at night, and as Boyd was talking to her about that number, all of a sudden she warned Boyd about keep moving forward. As Boyd asked her the reason, she claimed that she was hearing of a woman who was warning her to stop Boyd. Then quickly she mentioned on Boyd's very weakness and obsession that maybe Abby was right, and claims that the woman's voice was asking her to tell Mr. Fish and Love that she was wrong. In this case, I believe at the beginning of their journey, as Sara was trying to open a conversation with Boyd, first she reminded him about what has happened to his wife Abby, and she thinks that this was not his fault. Boyd stopped her at that moment and didn't let her to talk about his personal concerns, but Sara made a trigger inside him. By her reminder and curiosity caused Boyd to think about her, and by this way she could open a small crack inside him to keep his control under her mind. But appearing a bottle tree on the way was unpredictable. It seemed by only visiting a bottle tree that vengeful spirit could gain control of her mind. I mentioned before, Sara was desperate talking to Boyd to enter his mind, and Boyd was resisting. But the moment the bottle tree appeared, it seemed she could connect to that vengeful spirit through that and could download Boyd's mind. It seems like a help at hand back in the tent. She claimed that she had connected to a woman who wanted to prove was Abby, but she only used Boyd's fears and memories to create a story up and avoids him from going further. But all of a sudden, a powerful unknown source began to drag their tent through the jungle, and they even couldn't recognize where or which direction this external unknown force is dragging them down. They just saw a huge light which seemed to be spreading from a lighthouse. They also could hear a loud horn which seemed to be a ship horn as it is parting by the port. After a while, the tent stopped moving and everything came back to normal again. Only it seemed something like an invisible unknown external force just dragged them through the jungle only to change their location and distracted them from moving forward to the direction they already headed to. I think the one who manifested that bottle tree in their way was the one who made their tent being dragged through the dark forest and was intervening in their searching journey. Not only because he didn't want them to find the way out, but because to help Sara. And it is no one but Victor. I guess Victor has this ability to control all those bottle trees and faraway trees so far. let's get back to the rest of the journey, looking for those worms Sara put under Boyd's skin only by using his obsessive fearful thoughts. In the morning, they are both still in the tent, and it seems they haven't had enough courage yet to leave the tent and see where they are. It's obviously clear, as Sara is playing with the worm, looking deeply into it. Boyd is sat on a corner, quiet, and seems deeply in his thoughts, and hasn't have no idea what to do next. At this moment, Sara began to talk about animals, bugs, and after all, worms, if they know that they live in such a dangerous place. Or maybe that doesn't matter to them. It seems this worm Sara is playing with creeps the hell out of Boyd, and he mentions on their creepy ability to being duplicated and even heal themselves after being cut into two. Now Sara has found about other obsession and sensitivity in Boyd, and finally Boyd decides them leaving the tent, as Sara is still asking about what dragged the tent and where they are. The moment they came out of the tent and saw all those giant spider webs, it seemed that maybe a giant spider has dragged them down there. And in From's case, this is not far and beyond imagination, because we already saw that Victor has drew one. Maybe it was him who manifested a huge spider to drag the tent to the nowhere. Sara is still insisting on Boyd to stop moving forward, and she is warning him again by using his memories, but Boyd was so hard-headed and didn't want to listen to her. All of a sudden, Boyd hears of Abby asking for help. As we see, Sara claims that she can't hear of that voice.
Abby?
And finally, lots of spiders attacking him, and one of them bites him, and only this simple spider bite causes him feeling desperate and broken and also delusional. Again, I believe it was Victor who manifested all those spiders and spider webs there only to stop Boyd from moving forward, and by this way helped Sara. Now Boyd is hallucinating and is talking shit. He can't and didn't want to keep moving. And now, after Boyd is all down by a freaking spider bite, she decides to get him back home. Season 1 Episode Finale. The storm is coming, and it seems someone has manifested that storm only to break the radio tower down and stop them from reaching outside. Getting back to Boyd and Sara, it is raining now, due to that storm manifested back to break the radio tower. A ship horn comes to ear, as it seems they are standing by a port and they even could see a lighthouse back there. We already know that after Colony House's bloody massacre, Victor disappeared after sending Julie into that faraway tree to get back home. Jade believed he must be dead until now. But this was Ethan who believed that Victor was alive and only he was gone to complete his own tasks in this quest.
It's okay, because you're wrong. He's fine. Wherever he is, he's doing his part.
Yeah? He's part of what?
A quest.
Sorry, the what?
That's what this is. It's a quest. And everyone has a part to play. Even you.
As Boyd and Sara were wandering into the woods in that rainy night, the basement collapses at Matthew's house due to that hole Tabitha was digging. Tabitha fell down into a dark tunnel underground, and as the whole basement was collapsing on her, Victor appeared from the thin air, claimed that the boy in white has told him that she would come and wanted to save her. Back to Boyd and Sara in the middle of the rainy forest at the beginning of the dark, they seemed to have lost their way deep into the woods. All of a sudden, when Boyd is breaking and Sara is completely desperate looking forward, the boy in white appears to Sara and makes contact with his mind, tells her about how to escape by walking through the hole inside the tree. Sara listens to him and sends Boyd inside the tree as she goes after him to save themselves. But all of a sudden, Boyd finds himself stuck in a dark chimney pipe. He calls out for help and he is scared. He even didn't know what has happened to Sara and why he has appeared inside such a tight pipe until he hears of a man. Just don't forget that Boyd has been bitten by a spider and he was still hallucinating. In my past reviews, I already mentioned that Boyd ended up into that chimney pipe and then into the dungeons meeting Martin only because he had that number he pulled out of the bottle tree with him. And Julie appeared there and threw the rope down for Boyd only because of that empty bottle Tabitha saw in her dream of the lighthouse. But how those worms being manifested under his skin? The moment Sara was playing with that earthworm, Boyd already was creeped out. Then they left the tent, found themselves surrounded by giant spiderweb. Boyd heard of Abby's voice, followed the voice, and at the end being scratched by that shapeshifter who seemed to be Abby. And when one of the spiders bitten him, he began to hallucinating more and more, and finally found himself deep into that dungeon by Martin, the old chained man who didn't show Boyd any interest for being saved. Instead, he turned into a mirror in front of Boyd, reading his mind, trying to scare and trick him, and at last scratched on his hand by his dirty, filthy dark nails and transferred those things seemed to be worms inside Boyd's body and under his skin. The moment Boyd picked up that torch and found out the way out, he found out that he can't be seen or touched by those monsters lurking around in the dark. And maybe he had to being scratched by Martin and receive those worms from him only to be able to pass through the jungle and find his way back home. The music box is only there just because those numbers were connected to music notes and song. Also, the music box is a part of further plan. Now, we only can see the music box as Martin claims that they are coming and insists Boyd to leave the place. I believe when Martin says they, he means Randall, Julie and Mariel. And Boyd just shouldn't be there because this must happen in the future and not now. Music box refers to season 2 episode finale, which in my next review on From TV show in Exposed collection, I'm going to discuss on that. I will make a huge breakdown on what happens through second season that takes Boyd back into the dungeons to break the music box and save Randall, Julie and Mariel and stop cicadas attacking people in their dreams. At last, he goes back to the town as he still could feel those worms moving painfully under his skin. And at that moment, this is only Victor who discovered about that, but never mentioned on it. At the end, we find that Sara has entered into that faraway tree after Boyd. She has arrived to the church's basement where she already was kept hidden by late Father Guthrie. And it was only Boyd ended up in that chimney pipe due to that number he pulled out of the bottle back into the tent. Boyd goes back to the town as he has those worms under his skin, and this is where season 2 officially begins and all those other freaky incidents are happening one after another. Until Boyd goes back to that dungeon to break the music box and saves Julie, Randall and Mariel from that curse caused on them being hunted by cicadas. After all these, we discovered that all the time Sara was committing murders claiming that she's receiving messages from spirits, only trying to save herself As from the other side, it was Victor who was trying to gain the control of the situation back by helping Sara, distracting Boyd through that journey into the woods. Now Sara is saved. But she's not saved by those people around anymore. Now everyone knows the real story and looks into Sara as a psychic murderess. Now Sara has different problems she should take care of. She already has lost her own beloved brother who was keeping her safe and cared. After Nathan's death by her own hand, she has lost not only his brother Nathan, but she has lost trust and respect in everyone around her in Farmland. Now survival is difficult for her. She is all alone and banished from the society. But she's not that type of girl who loses her patience. She begins to use her mind and manifestation powers on everyone and everything around her who is ignoring her. Now it's time for Sara to plan other operation, not only get revenge upon everyone, but to gain all her powers back. In my next review in this collection, I'm going to discuss an all revenge plot Sara prepared for people and how she manifested all those cicadas through everyone's dream and created such a drastic, horrific, toxic, vengeful game for Boyd and other people. And she abused other people's memories to create such a massacre. What do you think about my discussion and theory? Feel free and let me know and drop your ideas in the comment section. This is Ellen the Marvelous, the movie Gangstar. Hit that thumbs up and like the video and support me. And share it through your friends' social media and family fans. Subscribe for more and make sure to push the notification bell to be informed of all of my videos, reviews and breakdowns as I uploaded them. Thank you for watching. See you all in my next reviews. For now, love and light in peace.